Watched that video countless times, and it sure looks like Brittney Griner says, white girl.
Just when it seemed like the WNBA was finally ready to embrace the player who helped bring it back into the spotlight, things took a disappointing turn. Instead of celebrating Caitlin Clark's incredible impact and the huge crowd she's drawing, we're now seeing a wave of resentment, led, surprisingly, by Brittney Griner. Rather than seeing this moment as a positive for the league, she's treating the excitement around Clark as some kind of issue that needs to be fixed.
Every time we play her, there's this commotion, like this loud rumbling from the stands. Turns out it's people, thousands of them, just sitting there watching on purpose. It's very disruptive. She says WNBA games used to be a chill, quiet place. You could bring your laptop and relax, maybe even get a little work done. But now it's like there's large gatherings of people watching us from the stands. Some of them are yelling crazy shit about what they're seeing, putting unfair pressure on us to score, like we're there for their entertainment. You are. The whole thing is toxic. I saw a guy with his daughter in the crowd, both of them yelling, couldn't hear what they were saying exactly, but it was either my performance or some.
And here's where things get really interesting. Stephen A. Smith, the one guy who's been loudly speaking the truth about Caitlin Clark's impact while others tiptoed around it, has finally had enough. He's hit his limit. And when Stephen A. hits that point, you can bet the entire sports world is about to get a dose of truth so sharp it could make a college professor stand up and cheer.
Honest with you folks, the WNBA already set a precedent. It doesn't matter what Brittney Griner said. It doesn't matter what Brittney Griner said, because they've already shown us they don't need evidence, they don't need substance, they don't need any type of proof at all to launch a bogus investigation into Indiana Fever fans, so they shouldn't need any substance, any basis, any evidence to launch an investigation into any other fan, any other player, any other group. The WNBA set.
If you've followed Stephen A. Smith's take on the WNBA over the past year, you've seen it coming. He's been building up to a full-blown explosion of truth. And now, it's here. This isn't just about basketball anymore. It's about a league that seems to be standing in its own way, because some players and executives can't bring themselves to admit that one rookie, Caitlin Clark, has completely changed the game.
Brittney Griner was in a Russian prison. You would think that somebody who is now free, back in America on home soil, would not have too much to complain about. Especially something like this. Fans in every sport. She described the fans.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter what sport you are. It doesn't matter what sport you pick. That's how fans act in every arena.
This moment has been building for months, maybe ever since Caitlin Clark played her first pro game and instantly became the most important player the WNBA has ever seen. While half the league treated her like some outsider who just stumbled in by mistake, Stephen A. Smith was the one laying down the truth, so clearly and confidently, it could make a mathematician tear up in a group.
We know this. Attendance for the entire league was up nearly 50% last year. According to data from across the timeline, and Indiana led all teams with an average attendance of 17,035. That was up 319% from the year earlier. 319%. 319%. All other teams still grew by double-digit percentages. So let's not forget that. But they didn't grow by 319%. That was Caitlin Clark, which means she's largely responsible for the overall league attendance records. Merchandise sales were also up 450% for the WNBA, according to Fanatics, and Clark was the top-selling player and is fifth among athletes across all.
We'll see, nobody knows yet, Stephen A. said when talking about Caitlin Clark's effect on WNBA ratings. But I'm going to be very interested to see what happens. Because if those numbers suddenly drop off, then it's time for everyone to take a step back and re-evaluate. It's like watching someone ignore a pile of gold while complaining they're broke, and Steven's the one shouting, the gold is right there.
And if this is the magnetic traction that draws viewers to the WNBA, and her absence over the next 2 weeks due to that quad strain is providing further evidence of that, then everybody needs to accept it, stand down, and ride that wave. I'm going to be really interested in seeing how the ratings are going to look without her over the next 2 weeks. Let's make sure we come back and ask me this exact same question after she's been gone for those 2 weeks.
If you're enjoying this, don't forget to subscribe. Now, let's break down the numbers, because it seems like some folks in the WNBA front office need both a calculator and a reality check. So far this season, games featuring Caitlin Clark are averaging 1.178 million viewers. Games without her? Just 394,000. That's not a small difference, that's a 199% gap. You could drive a freight train through it. To put it plainly, Clark's games are pulling in 3 times the audience. 3 times from the moment she joined the league. Caitlin Clark became a one-woman economic boost. The season opener between her Indiana Fever and the Chicago Sky brought in 2.7 million viewers on ABC, making it the most-watched WNBA game ever on ESPN platforms.
So, news just came out. Ratings are higher than it's ever been for the WNBA.
Yeah.
Congrats to Caitlin Clark. It's crazy how that works.
I mean, what are you going to do? Proof's in the pudding, kind
Get a girl out of Iowa.
Exactly.
Who can pull up from the state next door.
Yeah.
And light up an entire arena, every arena.
This is where Stephen A. Smith's frustration really hits the roof. Instead of WNBA leadership celebrating the incredible gift they were handed with Caitlin Clark, we got bland press releases and safe, forgettable social media posts. It's almost like they were embarrassed by their own success, afraid to admit that one player could have such a huge impact. Stephen saw this happening in real time. He watched Clark shatter viewership records, fill up arenas, and pull the WNBA into the mainstream spotlight, all while some players and commentators downplayed her, acting like she hadn't earned the attention. And now, after months of holding it in, Stephen A. is letting it all out.
Look, now I've taken hits because I was calling it from day one. You got people that are resentful towards her, but it's really not about her, guys. It's about what she represents. Before she ever came along, there were a lot of outstanding basketball players who happened to be black females that was doing their thing on the WNBA level. And they never got this kind of shine. This girl, the Golden Goose, comes along and she wreaks havoc. She's the Rookie of the Year. She's 4th in the league in MVP voting. 4th in the league. Her